Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Soviet Tier 10 Premium Heavy Tank, the Object 260. Now how do you get this tank? Well, this tank is in the Premium Tech tree for 450,000 free XP. And it's a tank that, honestly, I think it's probably one of my favourite Tier 10 Heavies. It's probably that way. It's one of those that I always pick up and I just enjoy every second of playing the tank. It's got great mobility. It's got armour that is not brilliant, but good enough. The gun is quite nice. The APCR standard on this tank is delicious. And the reload's okay, right? And all packaged together is just a tank that I really enjoy. Is it the best free XP tank out there that you should be getting? Well, I don't think it is. I think obviously the Qilin or the Valor FV201 T95 M60, they're like the top three for goodness, right? But this is a good choice to pick up because it can be a lot of fun. It's not exactly the most brawly heavy tank because it can get penned quite easily with the armour. Like I said, the armour is one of those that's not brilliant. You will get penned quite often in it, but there's a lot of situations where you can just ricochet shots, which is exactly what you want to do, which is nice. So you're seeing there with going face to face with this E50M. That E50M had no problems penning us there at all. He was going through the front every time. Because if you turn slightly sideways, the pike nose on the front becomes, well, not very good generally. If you are sideways on, like I'm sideways on here to this 257, more often than not, he would have penned the pike nose there. But he managed to bounce off us there because we managed to straighten up. The low plate's obviously also the weak spot. One of the other weaknesses of the tank is obviously it's got 5 degrees of gun depression, which can be quite bad. We'll see the 257 pens us through the lower plate there. It's got 5 degrees of gun depression, which can be quite bad, but at the same time, it's very Soviet of it. Its main strength is the mobility there, it really is. And there the 257 bounces off the armour finally. Yeah, the mobility, the ability to get into aggressive positions very quickly, very early on, is a big strength of the tank, and it's very nice thing to have. It's very similar to the Object 430U, right? In the fact that it's a heavy tank, right? But it's actually more like a medium tank. Whereas the 430U is more like a heavy tank than a medium tank. Because the 430U really actually has better armour than this tank has, right? But it's not got as good a mobility as this tank. But it's got the medium tank designation, you know? It's just the oddities of tanks, right? But you don't want to play this thing as an outright heavy tank. You want to play this tank as like a brawling medium, right? A tank that you know you're not going to bounce every shot going, but you can get involved, you can get stuck in. So we're on Sunset Coast and we have pushed very aggressively with our team. We've got rid of the C75. There's still an STB1 in that corner. So we're just going to poke around and try and get a shot into the STB1, who is hiding just on these ridge lines. We try and get a shot through his turret there. The turret is a bit of a pain at times to pen on the STB1. It is a bit of paper, but at the same time, because of the angling and the APCR, we do have a standard on this tank. We can just ricochet shots off the front of it, but he's turned his turret to face someone else. Get a nice shot straight through the side. Kind of concerned about the TD on the right hand side that got spotted, but he's not in a position to shoot me, so I'm safe there. It's actually a waffly 100, so what we're going to do is load HE, because paper turret waffle, we want all those juicy HE rolls. We take the sort of slower route to get there by hugging the side of this hill next to me. And then unfortunately we don't pen the waffly 100 with HE. We ended up doing like 290 something damage, which is unfortunate. We've still got HE in, which is helpful for this SDRV 1030, because, well, we're not going to pen it with the APCR, because the way that that thing angles, or the angles on that tank mean that you need like 100, you need a higher caliber of gun than 122mm basically. And APCR also is even worse for facing against those things, because it's more likely to ricochet. So I was like, oh, you know what, I'll stick with the HE and just fire HE at it, because I could have loaded heat, because that's the one thing with the SDRV 1030 that is fantastic for a tank like this, that if you have heat, you can just load it and automatically pen them. It's the thing with all the Swedish mediums, all the Swedish TDs, is that you can pen them pretty much every time with heat, unless it's the tier 10 1030 with the 103B, sorry, with the heat shield on the front. But I stuck with HE because HE, you never know, you might set them on fire. Plus, if I actually hit the cupola, which I did, you can pen it because it's only like 20mm. So we ended up taking a hit from that mouse chum, which left us on 46 hit points. Now, with the hit points we had left, it's kind of lucky that I say kind of lucky that we're alive. It's got 490 average. Well, I say 490 average. It's got 490 base damage. I have 473 health. He left us on 46, so he low rolled like mad. But 490 isn't the average roll of that tank anymore. It's more like 450, 460, something like that. It's just the damage roll RNG that they've changed now, which is rubbish. It means that I was quite confident in poking out and trying to shoot that guy's cupola and kill him, which I obviously bounced off the first time. Because I thought, you know what, I'll take a hit here and I'll probably survive. So I'll, you know, try and shut him down. If I don't, like, pen him first time and he pens me, I'll survive and be able to shoot him and shut him down again the second time, which is what happened. So now there's only two tanks left. There's a Progetto 65 and a 257. They're capping, which the Progetto just gets spotted against my team over there at G1, which makes me know that there is a 257 in the cap. Now I'm hoping that this 257 isn't healthy, because obviously I'm a one-shot, and we don't know what health he's on. He's a two-shot. So we get a nice shot through his side, and then we're going to deviate straight forward towards this rock here, so that it gives us as best cover as possible. But now we're loaded. We're going for the shot straight into his side. And obviously, our 340 heat pen bounces off his side. And he shuts us down, unfortunately. But we finished that game with an ace tanker, the high caliber, 1582 base XP, 5 kills, 6.2k damage, 681 assistance. So that's like, what, 6.8k combined. And a really nice game for the 260. And it kind of showed what you can do with being in this tank and being aggressively pushing, and you know, the key positions you can take really quickly in this thing. Showed also how quite nice the gun can be. Like I said, the reload's not the best out of all heavy tanks, but it's also not the worst. It's pretty decent for 440 alpha. It's just nice generally to have. And like I say, this is probably one of my favourite ones because it suits me quite well in the fact that I can push to aggressive places quite easily. I can also get out of those positions quite easily, and I can use the gun to good effect. And I'm not, like, as soon as someone shoots me, I'm not guaranteed to take a hit and be penned. I could ricochet shots, but the armour isn't always like guaranteed to bounce things, you know. So we're on cliff and we're taking the aggressive position at E3. We're going straight in. We get spotted with boost with food, so we can hopefully spot what was looking at us. It's this FV4005. We try and get a shot on the move. Unfortunately miss him, but luckily enough, obviously we don't take a big slap from him, which is not what we want to do. So we're just going to pop up on top of this ridgeline, see if we can use the food boost while we've got it to try and spot anything crossing. Now we get a nice shot auto-aimed onto the 65T. I'm just going to keep waiting. It seems to be a bug at the minute where detected stays on for forever. I don't know if you noticed it when we crested the ridgeline at E3. There was nothing actually looking at us, but we managed to, for some reason, we were still detected the whole time. We get a nice shot straight through the side of the 65T. He unfortunately managed to pen and track us on this ridgeline, which is annoying. Obviously, it's a bit of an awkward one for us because we've got 5 degrees of gun depression on this ridgeline, so if anything was to get closer, it would be a pain. We get a nice shot straight through the CS-53. I'm hoping to be able to get another shot through him before I reload, but unfortunately he's got unspotted. So we're just going to push forward and see if we can finish off this 65T, because he was somewhere around this corner. We actually spot a Progetto 65, so aiming for a shot straight through his lower plate. He gets a shot into us. Swivel, swivel, so that hopefully we give him less of a chance of penning us. He's ricocheting off of us, which is nice. There's a Brask up there that we can't quite get a shot off. Get a nice shot snapped straight through the CS-53. And like I say, I'm just wiggling right now. Obviously, I'm in a bad position because artillery could get us, but he's not right now. We get a nice shot through the upper plate of the Type 59-2. Set him on fire. He burns out. Waiting for the shot to go in so we can get a nice shot into the tracks of this Progetto. We get one in. Unfortunately, we don't track him, which means he's just going to plough forward. and get finished off by our team, by the looks of it. Looking for a shot on the Barask. He's not really bothered with us. We're not quite seeing him. We get a shot towards the 65. Unfortunately, it doesn't pen him. Looked like it might have done, but it didn't. Looking for shots at that CS. Can't quite get it. So I'm going to try and poke around and get a shot at the CS-53. But actually, there's a waffle. So we take the chance, poke out, get a nice shot straight through the waffle's turret. Load HE because it's a waffle. And now we've got an awkward lip in front of us, which is actually stopping us getting the depression to shoot the other waffle. Then another one gets spotted at the back, and it's like, oh, this is just delightful. Unfortunately, we don't pen his turret for 186, which is really unfortunate. Then we get a nice shot through for 445. We've still got 3 rounds left. This waffle at the back is just a juicy target. He gets shot by someone else. Get the shot in for an unknown amount because he gets unspotted just as we fire. Now he's on 103 hit points. He's ready for the finish off. And the HE round goes straight in. We've got 1 left. I'm thinking, can I get a shot at this waffle at any point? Get the HE round in. He's not bothered with us, so we're just going to poke over, get a shot straight through the side of his turret for over 500, which is the juiciness of this HE. We're just being careful, though, because obviously that waffle, if he decides to look at us and get a shot into us, is going to be painful. We get a nice shot through the top of his turret because he's not bothered by us. This is where we're quite lucky in the fact that we've got people surrounding this entire bowl area so that he can't really look either way without getting shot. So he's not bothered about us. We get another shot straight through the back of his turret. We're backing up. Hopefully he won't get a shot at us. Fortunately enough, he misses. And while he's staying there trying to shoot us, I'm quite confident in the turret armour of the 260 to bounce him, because the turret armour on this tank is quite good. You've just got to beware of the roof plate on top, which can be overmatched by like most tanks with 120mm. So you just got to be careful of that when they're shooting down on you, but when they're shooting up, the angle on that turret is really good, so I was quite confident he was going to bounce. So now that waffle's gone, there's still 3 TDs and a heavy tank left. The Mouschen's down on the corner. I was looking at the TDs there to make sure that the FV4005 wasn't left. Now that I know he's not alive, I do have quite a lot of hit points, so I know I can drop down and be okay, really. The only thing that's got a big gun is the T95. Maybe the waffle might do, but we're actually going over and seeing here where he does have the big gun, and you can hear it as well. We managed to get a shot into him. I think the T95 just misses us. We're going to poke over, get another shot into him, back up again. No, the T95 actually hits us there, takes off a big slab of hit points. But now I've decided, you know what, okay, he's fired, he's not going to reload for a bit, so we get a nice shot into the Mouschen. Finish, he gets finished off. Then artillery hits us on the slide down, which is unfortunate. That means we're now a 1-shot for that T95, whereas we weren't. But we know where that artillery is, we know where the T95 is. We can go around this corner and hopefully that T95 won't be looking at us. So we put around the corner. This T95 is actually behind the house, which is good. So we get a shot to finish off the Yahtzee. We're going to be able to get around this house before that T95 gets a shot at us if we, drive properly. Shot straight through the side of the T95 there. I was hoping to track him so we get a little bit of assistance. He gets finished off. So we're just going to drive around this corner, chance it, RBRT the shot, and finish off the DW Tiger. And that was a fantastic game for the 260. Again, showed the ability of the tank to get to an aggressive position and use it to its best ability. So we finished that game with 5 kills, 1,800 damage, so 8,800 damage, 1,959 base XP, Ace Tanker, Confederate, High Caliber, Sniper Medal. Yeah, a really nice game for the tank. So what's that? That's like, what, 11k combined? Something like that. Honestly, the 260, it's one of my favourite tier 10 heavies. I really enjoy it because it fits me perfectly. And it's definitely a good tank. If you've got others like the Valor and the Qilin and that, this is definitely worth a pickup. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!